Okay, welcome back. This is the second video out of 3 that shows you how to add integers. Now, this second method is a little more sophisticated than the first, and the method is to use something called a number line. Now, the way we visualize integers on a number line is with little arrows, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So just to quickly review this number line, so this number line has one long line that has 2 arrows on the end of it. So here's the 2 arrows on the end, just kind of going over them again, and we've got right in the middle, we've got the number 0. Okay, now on the right hand side we have green positive numbers, and the left hand side we have red negative numbers. Now if I want to represent the number positive 5, well, what I can do is I can represent it with an arrow that starts at 0 and ends at -5. So I'll just make those 2 dots and I'll combine them. So that is going from 0 to 5, but because it's positive, it's going in the positive direction. So I'll add a little arrow, and this arrow represents the number positive 5. So there's my positive 5. And if I wanted to represent the arrow, if I wanted to represent the number -3, well, I could again start at 0 and move all the way to -3, and there we go, there's my -3. This goes from 0 all the way to -3. So you can kind of see that it goes all the way from 3 to 0, or from 0 to 3, and same with this one. This goes from 0 to positive 5. So that's how we can represent integers on a number line. Now, you might want to know how does this tell us how to add integers? Well, when we add 2 integers, basically what we do is we connect the arrows. So I'm going to draw a nice big arrow here, and when we connect them, this is how we're going to connect them. So we take one arrow, and so this is my arrow, and I'm going to connect it to the base of the other arrow. Okay, so we're going to be connecting arrows like this. Now, this type of connecting arrows shows up all the time, especially in an area of science called physics. And this method of combining arrows is called tip to tail. Okay, and we're not going to talk too much about tip to tail addition, but that's really what we're doing. So the whole goal here is to connect these arrows using their different tips, and let's go ahead and do that. So if I wanted to add this -3 and positive 5, well, all I have to do is just have to combine them tip to tail like this. So here's the tip of the 3 is actually going to the tail of the 3 is going to the tip of the 5, and here we have it. So this is maybe not the best example because it's sort of out of scale, but this -3 should be, well, length 1, 2, and then 3. So it actually should end up over here. So I'll try to do that again with maybe some highlighter. So I go from positive 5, and then I go to the left 3 spaces. So I've got 1, 2, and then 3. So I know it's a little bit out of scale, so you'll have to sort of bear with me here, but that's really what we're doing. We're just combining these arrows tip to tail. So I'm going to do one more example, and hopefully that should help illustrate what we're doing. So suppose we have -6 plus positive 4. We're going to use a number line to add these 2 integers. So I'm going to start off with an arrow that starts at 0 and goes all the way to the left at -6. Okay, there's my arrow, and then the next number that I have is positive 4. Now, I could start off by putting my arrow at 0 and then going all the way to 4, and that definitely is positive 4, but I actually want to move that, right? So I actually want to be drawing it right over here. So if you're drawing this just with one single color, you can just draw the arrow right underneath it. I'm going to put it right on top just for added effect, but you'll notice that when I go to the left by 6 points and then I go back to the right another 4, I end up with -2. So I've got -2 here. So another way that you could sort of visualize it is just sort of by counting across the number line. So I'll do this in yellow so you can see everything that I'm doing. So I would start at 0 and I would go to the left 6 points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, because I'm going to the left-hand side, and then going back because I have a positive number and I'm adding it. I would start at where I left off and go forward another 4 spaces. So I go 1, 2, 3, 4. That's really the same thing as drawing those 2 arrows, but here you can kind of just do it with your pencil without actually drawing anything. You can kind of just sort of almost play hopscotch with your pencil along a number line, and that should help as well. Okay, so I hope that this method sort of helps you understand a little bit more about how integers work. We've got one more video that will be the most technical of the 3, and that's the way that I would like you to try to sort of have as a goal. So it's a little bit more complicated, but it'll definitely be how you want to add integers going forward. Thanks for watching.